Everybody, I dropped the wrong intro. Let's try that one more time.
Josh Meka's in the house. Turn the lights down low. Here we go. It's Wednesday night and the Frights come alive. We're dropping screams with the jokes on the side. Monsters, killers, ghosts in the dark, but we're laughing while we're watching. That's a trademark. Wednesday night Frights, we set the vibe. Josh and Meka keep the horror alive. Chills and thrills with the beat so tight. Every week we bring the shadows to life. So grab your popcorn, lock the doors. It's Wednesday night Frights. Let's explore.
Hey guys, so it is just me right now. Mika seems to be running just a little bit late. I thought I'd jump on and get us started anyway. So tonight, wanted to talk about episode 3 of It. Welcome to Derry. The episode is titled "Now You See Me," or "Now You See It." Um, Man, where do we begin? So let's just start right the prologue. So before the credits and everything it starts, we're going even further back in time. It's now 1908. We have young Francis Shaw experiencing a carnival sideshow setup. He receives a slingshot from his father. He's chased by a horrifying oddity. So like already this sequence, it deepens the mythic past of Derry. It shows kind of the cyclical nature that is the evil. And the slingshot kind of becomes like this symbolic weapon or symbol that's passed through time. So like it makes me think what does starting so far back, what does that do for our understanding of the main horrors? So I think that what this does is it sets us up because we know that I believe HBO set up 3 seasons of this right off the bat. That's what they signed on for. And we know that they're going to continue going back in time. So I wonder if there's kind of a note here that saying, hey, this is where we're going to be going. We're going to keep going further back. And um there so there's a lot kind of going on there, a lot set up, and it's got this really cool Todd Browning Freaks or Guillermo del Toro Nightmare, was it Nightmare City? It's kind of that whole sideshow, gritty, dirty kind of feel to it, and it really sets up, or it really continues the feel that was set for this show in the first 2 episodes with the theater massacre and the kind of the horrors that were like the maternal horror in episode 2. Now in episode 3 you've got that the weird old guy that turns into the kind of creeping running monster right there. And all of this is set up before the show even kicks off. We haven't even seen the credits yet. This is just kind of our build up to what's going to be happening. And I think it's a really good setup. It's a really good way to get us into it and to set up what we may see in the future from this show, because I believe Mika mentioned it last week that episode, or not episode, season 2 is going to go back to the 20s or 30s. So it's kind of teasing us of where this show could go, and I think that's a really cool way to start up the series. But so far, so through 2 full episodes and the opening of this episode, it's really got me hooked. And I will say it all the time. I say it on Couch Critics with Dave when we're talking. I don't watch a lot of episodic television. I like the idea of like the 2 hour story fully encompassed, and I'm really impatient. I don't like waiting week to week. But I gotta say, with Welcome to Derry, it's really got me kind of. I'm stuck. I have to watch it now. So it's doing a really good job so far with these cliffhanger endings that we had the first two episodes, and the kickoff, these kind of prologue back in time or previous era in this episode is really, really well done. Um, but then we jump forward. Now it's all of a sudden back up to 1962. We've got Lily back in school. Um, she returned. Well, actually, no, she's at Juniper Hill. So we see her at um, the institute, the with the I'm not sure who she is, but we have her Lily sitting there with like a nurse or something that is she's made a contact with, that she's kind of formed a relationship with. And it seems that that she's feeling good. She's decided, or she has intimated, that her relationship with Ronnie, though very new and not very deep yet, is very important. And the nurse kind of tells her that you need to go and do anything you can to rebuild that relationship, get it back, and then deepen it. And that's really our kickoff point into this episode. And then it jumps from there back into then it jumps from there, and we continue. She goes back to school, and she's going to try to rebuild that relationship. But that little bit at the hospital, it showed that a lot of movies, like or books and movies about back into this time frame, like Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, when we see facilities like this, it's usually not a nice place. It's usually some place that you don't want to be, that the doctors or nurses are not the kind of people that we want to be seeing. um, but I think it also maybe gives us this idea that that maybe Juniper Hill, the institute, maybe there's something Overlook Hotel about it. It doesn't actually let go of the patient. It keeps bringing her back. Um, I don't know. That's just me reading into it, but it's a it's really nice the way it's set up, because it is clean, and they are good people, and they're friendly, and that's not what we normally get in film for this kind of thing. And then from there we go on to, oh well, so while all of this, so Lily's being released from the institute, she goes back to school. And I think what this really does for the story is that this shows how vulnerable Lily is, and this stigma that she carries. She's kind of this kid who sees things, or who has seen things. Um, and it's kind of like, so she's becoming an outcast. She's becoming like in the movie and the book, she's becoming the new losers, right? Um, so by doing that, so it's creating this depth. She has this inner conflict um that she's dealing with. She's afraid to tell anybody, because nobody's going to believe. And that's where the nurse tells her that most people can only believe what they see, but she trusts her. She believes her, that um she's seen some crazy things, even though she can't prove it. That nurse is going to believe her, and I think that's going to empower her and give her strength. And then so she's building that depth. She wants to be believed, and then with that, it does set up that we can have some humor with that potential awkward school scenes. But then she's back at school. She rekindles that relationship. She tells Ronnie, I will tell them anything. I'll tell them the truth, meaning the police, about Ronnie's father, that he wasn't there. She tempers it by saying that he's not going to believe her. It's not that the police aren't going to believe her, but she's going to tell them everything that she actually saw, what really did happen that night the um at the movie theater when all of their friends were lost. And then so it really is setting up a lot in that scene. She's got her now, they've got the relationship back. Now once the relationship is started, they decide they need to go and figure this thing out. Um they have to go get some kind of proof about this. And Lily comes back with a camera, right? So um and Ronnie's skeptical. She's, so you think we're just gonna get it to stop and pose for a picture? So it's kind of got a little funny beat there, but then she says, we don't have any other choice, right? What other ideas do we have? So they go out and they begin to recruit some friends. They go out, they recruit Will and Rich, and they're going to go out and capture this. So you've got this whole idea, and one of my favorite types of stories, the kids versus evil now. And I think and I hope that that's going to be the core of this series, because that's what it is. It's the kids against the evil. I like the other stories that we'll talk about in a minute, but I really love that kids versus evil. They have a plan, maybe a little childish, but it is a plan. Um, and then so they're gonna use some, and they're incorporating some Cuban folk ideas in here, to be able to bring in. So now when they're sitting down and they're chanting, and then some humor comes up, because when they do the little chant and they say, oh, you told me we had to stay here. Well, no, my cousin said it's okay. Well, your cousin, you told us, was your uncle. So there's all this stuff, like the kids are scared, they're nervous, and it all just feels really natural, and the performances so far are really really good, from the children, the young child actors. um it's all been really good setup, but now we have this evil, and they're gonna go in the graveyard, they're gonna summon the evil through the Cuban folk tradition. uh and I think that's where this show really hits for me. I love the tension. The kids film the old camera, and they have their clunky tech. They don't have high-end ghost gear. By going back in time, it creates some different things. And now we will be able to get to see, maybe cracks in their friendship under pressure. And we start to see that a little bit with the Ronnie questioning, well, where did you really hear this from? And how do the four kids really balance that fear, that teenage awkwardness, and that sort of thing? It's a really well done little scene, and it is pretty shocking, because some things start coming up out of the ground, things are happening all over the place, and it's a really tense. It's this, for me, it was maybe the scariest part of the whole episode, because all of this stuff is coming out of nowhere. It's coming after the kids, but it's really fun. It's really well done. And then we go into the next story, right? So now we've had the carnival, we've got this we got everything going on, and then now we're in, after the grave outside of the graveyard scene. So there's some more stuff going on. So now we have this subplot of segment 3, the Halloran visions. And I think that stuff, now we're getting a little more of the Shining in here, right? So Halloran is having his visions, and now he's going to go up into the helicopter. They're trying to get all these different things. So let's see. So we have the Shine. So longtime King fans recognize him instantly, because he's the caretaker. The he's from The Shining. We know him. But now we have him younger. He's confident. He's disciplined. He's working for the military. He's trying to use his psychic ability to project himself into Derry and trace the dark energy that is starting to stir. But what he ends up finding, I think, is not really what he expected, right? So he enters a vision, the sewers echoing, bodies floating, eyes open but blank. A wagon rolls by, part circus, part machine, squealing like metal teeth. And inside there's laughter. And Halloran freezes, the camera lingers on his face. He's not really afraid, he's just sort of in disbelief, because this isn't just a haunting. It's obviously something much, much older. And I think the subplot becomes crucial because this is where it's really tying Welcome to Derry directly into the larger King universe. Halloran's Shine is our bridge between worlds, between The Shining and it. But there's also a human angle here that I really enjoyed. It is um so he starts out really confident, right? Halloran is confident, the seasoned psychic. He's seen the worst of humanity. And at the end of that scene, he realizes that he's out of his depth. It's this a moment when adult ego meets that cosmic horror. And even a man who's faced ghosts or who will face ghosts in hotel corridors, he looks like a deer in the headlights when he's in the domain run by Pennywise. And there's even a tiny thread of humor here, the absurdity of it. A grown man standing knee deep in this psychic sewage, staring at a mechanical clown wagon thing, and just what the hell is happening? It's Lovecraftian, but with a smirk. It's that Stephen King sweet spot. But it's really, really beautifully done. It's a lot of fun. And then so we've got that subplot with Halloran going through all of that. And then the next portion of the segment 4, it's the climax, and we get our first real kind of tease of Pennywise, right? So the final act, it stitches both of those stories together. So you had the story of the kids trying to solve the mystery, get proof of the mystery of what's going on, of what they've seen, and Halloran and everything that he's doing, and his relationship with the military and what he's looking for. The kids, they all gather in Ronnie's garage. They're breathless, they're jittery, they're passing the Polaroids back and forth. And at first, they're joking because, I mean, that's what we do when we're afraid, right? And then someone notices. There's the clown, barely visible but unmistakable. A face, it's kind of half lit, it's frozen mid grin, standing in the background of one of Will's photos. And that's the moment the show becomes Derry, because now the monster isn't just rumor, now it's reality. They've looked at it and it has looked back at them. So the fear here isn't just the image, it's this idea that they've opened a door that they can't close. They've captured it, but maybe it also captured them. Meanwhile, Halloran, he jolts wide awake from his vision. He's sweating, he's gasping, that same laughter echoing in his mind across the miles, across worlds. Through The Shining, the connection is now made. And I think the ending does something clever here, because it doesn't give us the full shot of Pennywise, but it gives us something that's maybe a little bit worse. It gives us some uncertainty, right? So now the idea is that Pennywise is out there, he's watching and he's amused by what's going on. It's like the monster in the mirror that's always there when you blink. And of course, the show leaves us with this one last humorous sting, right? The kids, after all of that terror, they end up fighting over who gets to keep the photo, right? Classic teen or preteen logic. We just captured cosmic evil, but hey, this will look great in my scrapbook, that kind of thing. It's the irony is, I think, what Welcome to Derry really nails over and over, because even outside of Pennywise, horror isn't just about monsters. It's about people, people who are trying to be normal in the middle of this thing they can't explain. Um, so just to kind of break it down and my little analysis reflection, what does this episode really do? It resets the tone. The mystery now becomes tangible, the fear becomes shared, and Derry, that timeless little Maine town, tightens its grip on everyone inside of it. For Lily, this is that moment that she realizes now that she's not crazy. Maybe she's cursed. For Halloran, it's proof that this evil that he sensed all his life, it's not confined to a single place. And for us in the audience, well, this is the first time we get to really get that face of Pennywise, not in full color and full smile, but in shadow, in suggestion. And I think for me, that is much scarier than the full blown face. Um, so we'll see where the show goes for next week. We'll see what episode 4 brings us. Um, get Meka back in here. I don't know if we had a disconnect. Maybe my link broke. I don't know. I feel bad about that. But you got my side of it. Next week, we'll talk about how the photo starts to ripple through the town, how the paranoia spreads, whatever we start, whatever they give us in episode 4. So this is just gonna be a shorter episode because I did not plan to be solo. I'm gonna have to reach out to Meka, check in with her, and see what happens. I'm guessing that my recording link that she has is broken and she wasn't able to get in, but we'll get it solved for next time. Um, in the meantime, make sure you go and check out all of our podcasts. So Meka's at Cinematic Nightmares Podcast. You can find her on Instagram and Threads. You can find her on YouTube and her podcast out there on Spotify. Go check out all the stuff she's doing. She's got some great top 5 lists. She's got the shorts that she drops. She's got a great interview that just came out with Sheldon Higdon. Make sure you go and listen to that. And if you like her interview with Sheldon Higdon, go check out my interview with Sheldon Higdon from our Couch Critics podcast, also wherever you get your podcasts. But that's going to do it for us tonight. If you are like us and you're enjoying the descent into Derry, make sure that you are back here this same time, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, whatever that happens to be for you. Be here when Meka is back in because I fixed whatever problem it is. My editor and my producer sucks because it's me, but that's okay. Hit me up at Real Talk on Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok, and let's talk about theories, fears, favorite moments. But until next time, keep the lights low, keep the mind open, and whatever you do, don't follow the laughter. Thanks, everyone. And Meka will be back next time for sure.